Hello, this is Sparkus here, and welcome to another video where today I'm going to be doing another best class setup video for you guys, and this time it's going to be on the light machine gun called the Gorgon, which we all know is a very powerful light machine gun, but it shoots very slowly, which is the really bad downside about this weapon. And like I said before, and like all my other previous best class setup videos, that every time I get a weapon gold, I make a best class setup video on that particular weapon. And this time it's going to be on the Gorgon light machine gun, which I've had this gun gold for a really long time. And I'm just going to tell you guys, when you go for dark matter camo and you get to the Gorgon, right, you have to get 100 headshots with the Gorgon. But remember, the Gorgon takes 2 shots to kill and shoots very slowly, so it's really hard to get those headshots. So I try recommending the best way possible is probably camp in like a corner or something and take people off at longer ranges and aim for the head, because there's no high caliber available on light machine guns, so you have to have 2 shots to the head unless maybe you can get 1 shot to the body then 1 shot to the head. But trust me, headshots are not easy to get on this weapon. It was kind of frustrating, even though this gun is like super powerful in my personal opinion. But anyway, I have this weapon gold for a while now, and now I'm finally making a best class setup video on it. And speaking of gold camo, I've had a lot of gold camo on a lot of weapons, so I really gotta catch up on these videos. So anyway, let's just get right into the video, guys. So the optic I use on the Gorgon, because I do not like the iron sights, I use the Varix sight because it's basically a hybrid sight of like the red dot sight and the recon sights, and I like getting enemies at longer ranges and close quarter ranges, so I can switch back and forth, and it just helps me a lot. And I love getting long range kills with this weapon. It's a very good. It's 2-shot kill pretty much any range, so that's really good. Second attachment I use is a rapid fire attachment, and I think we can all agree that rapid fire is pretty useful on this gun, considering how freaking slow this thing fires. It's ridiculously slow, the fire rate on this weapon, so rapid fire definitely boosts that up a bit. And it does, I will tell you this, for you guys don't know, it does have more recoil to the weapon with rapid fire on it, but I can pretty much manage that recoil, and it's really not that big of a deal. And then the third attachment I use is quick draw, and quick draw is an awesome attachment for those weapons because light machine guns do typically aim down sights slowly, and it really sucks with this weapon, because this weapon, even with quick draw, it aim down sights slowly, and so it's a little disappointing. So that's why I use quick draw, because I love aiming down sights fast. But with this weapon, even with quick draw, it's still aim down sights slowly. I don't know why, but I use quick draw anyway. So that is it for the attachments on the Gorgon. Now let's go with my secondary weapon I run with this thing, which is a black cell. Now it doesn't really matter what rocket launcher you use. I prefer the black cell over the other free fire type, like free fire / lock-on launcher, because with the black cell you have a lot more ammo to it, and I'm able to take out a lot more score streaks a lot easier. Like if there's an enemy wraith in the air, now it takes pretty much 3 missiles to take it out, but with this thing it has 4 missiles, so I'll have like 1 missile left over. Like if the enemy has a UAV in the air, I can use that last missile on it. So black cell really useful for taking out score streaks, and I love taking out score streaks. For some reason, I'm the kind of guy on, like, if you were to have me on your team, I would be the guy who would like take out all the enemy score streaks. That's like who I am. And also I'm trying to complete the challenge where you have to destroy like, I don't know, 200 AI controlled score streaks or something like that, which is like a Cerberus, Guardian, a Sentry gun, all those type of score streaks, right? And that's like one of the hardest challenges to actually complete in Black Ops 3, and so that's kind of why I like running launchers all the time. And so yeah, my secondary weapon is the launcher. So let's go with the lethals and tacticals here. For the lethal, I have a C4, which C4, I think we can all agree, is pretty good, but it's not as good as it was in Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 was the total spamming, like everyone used C4. Like you could throw this thing up in the air and you could blow up in the air, but they changed the C4 in this game where it has to land on the ground, and then you have to let it be charged, I guess you can say, and then you can detonate it. So you have to let it land on the ground, and then when it says it's ready, it can charge. And also, if you place this C4 on a object and an enemy walks by, it will detect that enemy, and it will say, like in red letters, C4 ready or something like that. I can't remember what it says, but it will say that there's an enemy nearby, so you can detonate it, and then you can kill the enemy when it's near the C4, which I think is pretty cool. And C4 I think is pretty useful. Like for this class, when I use light machine guns, I like to use them as a defensive type weapon, and when I play the objective, like when I use light machine guns, I totally play the objective, and it really, for some reason, I just love light machine guns. Those are like my favorite type of weapons in like any gaming history pretty much. And so I don't know why, I just like feeling defensive when I use a light machine gun, and that's why I use C4. And of course, as well as defensive, for my tacticals, I have a trophy system, which we all know what a trophy system does. It can projectile, like, I think it can projectile hellstorms, which I think is pretty cool. I don't know about lightning strikes. It might be able to projectile those, but it can also projectile, like, flashbangs, frag grenades, combat axes, all those, like, lethals and other lethals and tacticals. It can, like, pretty much detonate those, and you don't have to die from them, which is pretty nice. So, like, especially if you're rushing to the B flag, just place the trophy system somewhere, and then when people see you capturing, they're gonna like think, oh, I'm gonna get a free kill by throwing my grenade over there. But nope, trophy system saves the day. You can get the flag capture, and your team's probably gonna win that round or something. So yeah, that is what I use for my lethals and tacticals. Very, very useful. Now let's go into the perks here. Perk 1, we're using Flak Jacket. Now, like I said before, this is a defensive class that I use. So like I said, all light machine guns I use are pretty much defensive class. So I'm gonna have defensive perks on. So Flak Jacket, very beneficial. Can't die from explosives, which is awesome. I love not dying from explosive. It's so useful. And then perk 2, I have that one perk called Cold Blooded. I keep getting like Cold Blooded and the other perk called Hardwired like mixed up. I usually switch them out. But the reason why I use Cold Blooded on this class is because I'm trying, like I said before, I'm trying to complete that one challenge where you have to actually have Cold Blooded on to destroy enemy AI kill streaks or something, and that's what the perk does. You're immune by being detected by AI controlled score streaks, so it's really useful when enemies have score streaks and they're AI controlled and they can't see you. So I find that awesome, but it's only ground AI, I believe. In perk 1 they have another perk in there, I think it's called Blind Eye, where it's air controlled, AI controlled aircraft or something that can't see you. But for this perk, Cold Blooded, was only ground AI, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, then the last perk here for perk 3 is Engineer. Now the reason why I use Engineer, because Engineer is so useful for a defensive class setup when you have a black cell as a secondary weapon, because a secondary weapon that's a black cell, like a rocket launcher, right? You can see enemy UAVs through like pretty much objects. You can see our HCXDs, you can see enemy score streaks basically, and enemy equipment, and it's so useful seeing those through objects, and you know where their equipment is, and you don't have to die by them. So I think Engineer is so useful, and I use it a lot on my light machine gun classes. But yeah, that is all my perks for my Gorgon class setup, and that is my Gorgon class setup for you guys. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to leave a rating for you guys what this video deserves. But yeah, this is a pretty good class setup in my personal opinion. You guys can copy it, do whatever you want with the class. This is just what I typically use when I play Black Ops 3. I don't use the Gorgon very much, but if I'm going to run a class, it's going to be very similar to that. It's not going to be maybe the exact same, but it's definitely going to be something similar. So like I said before, hopefully you guys all enjoyed this video. And if you did, please be sure to leave a rating for you guys feel this video deserves, and I shall catch you guys later.